Welcome, everyone. Archangel here with some potentially very upsetting news. I don't know if you've been informed, but chivalry is dead. Yeah, I know. That's such baloney, because quite simply, chivalry is alive and thriving more than ever. Certain male-to-female protocols or gestures of service may not be practiced with the frequency they were in the past, yet chivalry is not dead. It is so alive and kicking, albeit in different forms. Type 3 is definitely alive and well. Oh yes, that's right. There are various forms of male-to-female gallantry, because chivalry, aka white knighting, is not simply one monolithic entity. There are different types, and to understand female elevation, male devaluation, we need to understand the genesis of chivalry in order to break down the types, to see that it is not dead, it simply changes forms, and males have not been freed of obligation to females. At one time, chivalry was a code of conduct between opponents engaged in conflict. Then it morphed into a standardized addendum of traditionalism, a code of conduct attached to the division of labor arrangement forged between antagonistic sexes seeking cooperation for survival. Traditionalism settled upon specific roles that played to each sex's perceived advantages. Males would build, defend, and tend pack governance because of their physical strength and brilliant minds, and females tended domestic concerns because they incubated and initially nourished offspring. Since females were typically lesser in physical structure and physically hampered because they protected children, one of the incentives in this division of duties is that females received protection in exchange for their protection of children and their subordination to males. Yet, in many cases, it was merely a public subordination, because while males may indeed have occupied visible seats of governance and industry, behind closed doors, females often ran men. Sex, fragility, and motherhood are a female's most manipulative wiles. Anyhow, females, in exchange for provision and sustenance, acted the part of demure fragility, looking pretty and deferring to males either willingly or begrudgingly in order to receive sustenance. Indeed, female submission tickled male egos, and because of the sexual arousal induced by females, males further elevated breasted humans to pillars of beautification, deities atop monuments of exaltation, and so to appease males and capitalize on this artwork standard that they represented to males. Females would wear superfluously long dresses. They would wear bustles under their dresses, lace up corsets, heels under their footwear, paint all over their faces, and all of this had the desired effect of arousing males and increasing their pliability to persuasion. Yet the cumbersome dress that induced excitation in males also caused physical hindrance, and so males took pride in further infantilizing females as helpless, physically impaired beauties in need of protection and manual service by the big tough manfolk. Most males were happy to invoke special services because females tended kids and wore stuff that males liked, and thus servicing females was an agreeable payoff. Plus, it made males feel strong, needed, and relevant. So, proper society bastardized codes of conduct from the battlefield and implemented behavior protocol codes that mandated specific respectful treatment of the fragile movement-impaired goddesses in polite society. Traditionalism is, essentially, males building, protecting, and dying as females cook, clean, and raise children. Female protection and provision is inherent in the traditionalist agreement. It is females' compensation. Why would they get extra perks on top of all that? Males do not get extra perks from traditionalism. In fact, they are disadvantaged. So why the extra special protocols? Especially today, when females do not need men, right? You see, chivalry really grew out of our elevation of females. As males painted up and exalted females as objects of adoration, we enacted reverence protocols to lavish upon all females the way parishioners pay homage to their god. Demonstrations of honor. This is what we know as modern-day chivalry. It is worship, because females in jeans and sneakers are no longer movement impaired. Furthermore, they renounce dependence on males and demand equal treatment. So why would males continue chivalrous protocols, except as a tribute to living divinities? But even in its earnest form of assisting the movement impaired or defending physically diminutive females, chivalry still upholds the gynocentric paradigm, where everything flows from males to females for female welfare, whether material goods or manual services. And since our worship of females and the feminine is only improving, chivalry also is thriving in all various forms. Understand that chivalry, defined as assistance to the fragile, this falls apart and reveals itself as inequity when women demand equality. Before, they were too fragile to tend to themselves, yet now they want to do everything males do. Great! So now they can tend to themselves and open males' doors, right? Oh, no. The female collective has turned their backs on the traditionalist roles, which should render them ineligible for protection and provision. Yes, you don't work, you don't get paid. Males still build, protect, and die for female welfare, but if chicks don't fulfill their duties, they don't get protection and provision. ABC, it's called logic. However, wealth and technology came along, and females saw their chance at a coup d'etat, because they are tired of the constraints of traditionalist roles. They want the captain's chair, and by cunning, females have achieved just that, authority over society and government. Be not fooled by patriarchy male privilege propaganda. Females run things, and as homage to the divine feminine, they want males to service them with antiquated protocols, which really are demonstrations of submission, like a servant bowing before a master. But males still working for Traditionalism Incorporated see that females quit that job, yet they still want to receive a paycheck. This transparent duplicity is compelling males to see all the baloney going on here. Chivalry is not protection of the weak, but a power grab by females who feel they are superior to males. And since gynocentrism affirms female superior life value, hence chicks seek obedient behaviors from males' incongruence to royalty that demands prostration from peasants, because equality and chivalry reinforces females' self-aggrandization. Understand this. Chivalry is most certainly thriving, but we need to understand certain distinctions. Chivalry can be a big, nebulous umbrella of pampering, protecting, and bestowing worship upon females. Yet there are three general types, depending on the behavior or homage a male is offering a female. Type 1 is assistance chivalry. This is the commonly cited original form of protect and assist the movement impaired, physically diminutive female. And this is the type that females complain about a lack of, where males open doors, carry groceries, fix cars, houses, plumbing, any and all manner of toil or labor, no matter how big or small, that males spare females from. This is assistance chivalry. Type 2 is veneration chivalry, such as kissing the hand of a female or standing from a table when a female enters or egresses a room, which started from males standing to assist females if they needed help either sitting or standing up because of unsteadiness due to cumbersome attire. Obviously, as our elevation of females as objects of art hit its renaissance, this particular vein of movements simply became gestures of respect. For example, the removal of one's top hat in the presence of a lady was a symbol of respect. Today, veneration chivalry is commonly comprised of gestures like giving up your seat to a lady on the subway or letting a female ahead of you in a checkout line. Such are modern-day examples of Type 2 or veneration chivalry. Now, Type 3 is the chivalry that is alive and thriving, which is exemption chivalry, where we exonerate females from their actions, such as males jumping in to defend and deflect the effects of female behaviors. Many will call this white knighting, but white knighting is an umbrella descriptor of all chivalry types. Type 3 is specific in its exoneration of females from blame or responsibility. Type 3 chivalry turns males into female apologists, proxy defendants mitigating the consequences female actions cause. For example, one time at the gym, I observed a female and a male doing sit-ups. The male was standing and the female was on the bench doing crunches. Then at the top of one crunch, she clearly lets out an involuntary fart, which happens when exercise is performed. People involuntarily pass gas. It's human. However, this guy immediately steps in and says, "Oh, excuse me, claiming the embarrassment of her fart to himself for the benefit of everyone within earshot. This guy was programmed to jump in and assume the ramifications for female actions, rather than abandon her to the consequences of her actions. This is exemption chivalry, sparing females consequence that males are not spared. Guys don't jump in and claim other guys' involuntary farts to stave off his embarrassment. Yeah, please. Another example. A guy came in with his girlfriend one day, and an acquaintance approached him and said, "Hey, John, happy birthday," and then turned to the guy's girlfriend and asked her, "So, what did you get him?" She responded, "Nothing." And as the other guy started to shame her for her lack of consideration, the boyfriend, birthday boy, jumps in and says, "She is all the present I will ever need." So here we have a guy jumping in to spare a female the criticism penalties of her self-centeredness. These are the actions of exemption chivalry, and you can see exemption chivalry everywhere. A couple of kids get caught doing something unapproved, like skinny dipping or shoplifting or drinking, and friends, teachers, society will immediately blame the male and exonerate the female of responsibility. And this continues into adult life, where we blame males for the ill behaviors of females. This is exemption chivalry, and our cultures, our societies, our legislative system all routinely practice Type III chivalry. And the proof is observing anonymous males jumping in to defend the actions of loudmouthed females in the bar. Our legislative system lessens sentencing standards on females, and many times exonerates females from their criminal actions. And make no mistake, females killing their kids or family members, or defacing, maiming, or mutilating men, or stabbing men and having charges dropped because she was in medical school. These are absolutely chivalrous actions by the state to exempt females from nefarious behaviors, actions that no males would escape. You can observe guys the world over enacting exemption chivalry, even as females whine that chivalry is dead. It is not. Females are more exalted and worshipped than ever. Only the type of chivalry has changed from less manual labor chivalry, like opening doors, because females are equal and act offended by insinuations of subordination or weakness. As they walk through the door a male is holding open. In addition to less Type I, there indeed may be less Type II, such as hand-kissing or top hat removal, as social polite society protocols have changed over the years. And females are proclaiming equality, and so males are fearful of offending women with protocols that were born of a time when females were subordinate, even though it was willing submission for protection and survival, which benefited females. And indeed, there are many females that want these Type I and Type II pleasantries to come back. There are traditional conservatives or anti-feminist females who want the assistance and veneration chivalry types to return to commonplace practice. However, they are unwilling to give up the social and legal perks feminism has gained them. No. They want those, and they want to receive these reverence gestures as worship. Make no mistake, tradcon females subscribe to the same female superiority that feminists do. The only divergence is tactics. Feminists demand, tradcons flatter. Type III exemption chivalry is definitely the new queen of the hill. This is how males demonstrate their worship of females, by exempting them from responsibility and assuming the fallout of pretty chicks' emotionally impetuous, responsibility-free behaviors. Ladies, you may not like to admit this, but chivalry is not dead. It is healthier than ever, and deep down, you know this. Females and the feminine are exalted more than ever. Perhaps Type I and II are on the decline as males struggle to be politically correct and treat females with the equality they demand. So knuckle-dragging fart machines manically dance around, trying not to offend females in order to get their approval and validation. However, Type III chivalry is thriving like black mold in Florida humidity. Type III is where we exempt females from their actions, and this form of exaltation through exoneration is everywhere. Just open your eyes to see the numerous ways we divorce females from their actions, as we try to pin the blame for female actions on a male, any male, somewhere, somehow. An abusive dad, or brother, or grandpa, or uncle, a coworker, schoolmate, boyfriend, husband, a stranger on the subway, an assailant in a dark alley. Some male somewhere is to blame for tainting, influencing, or forcing a female to behave badly. And even if there is no male to blame female malice on, we still practice exemption chivalry and divorce females of responsibility by blaming their misdeeds on nature, biology, creator. It's her time of the month. She has postpartum depression, menopause, blah blah, etc. You see, society jumping in to excuse and apologize for female mischief is chivalry, saving the angelic damsel from her own actions. This is good old-fashioned gallantry as we rush in to assist and save females, because nothing is her fault. Females are the victims of men, hormones, biology, environment. Our knee-jerk reaction to jump in, save, and then apologize away female ill words or misdeeds, this is deliberate programming where we labor so studiously to deify females as benevolent angels, works of art with naught but love in their hearts for all. So, chivalry, as a code of conduct applicable to gentlemen engaged in conflict, yes, that chivalry is long dead and gone. But chivalry as fragility assistance turned female exaltation and worship, no, service of our deities has not abated. It is more pervasive than ever, to the point that we excuse them from responsibility. In fact, so pervasive is Type 3 that we have to ask, is there anywhere chivalry is not being practiced? Friends, stand with me, live free.